There's other things we can do as well. Now, this is going to look a little bit unrealistic because this is not how fire works, but let's go into our fire and let's put a different particle in. And this particle is going to be quad mesh. Watch it crash. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to save it.
Wise man.
New material. I'm not that wise. New standard material 3D. And alpha. You know what? Let's yeah, that'll do. Okay, first thing I notice, it's black. Why is it black? It's not.
You just had to reload the scene.
Exactly. It's buggy. Beta, whatever. I want to change the size of that to be a bit smaller. So 0.25, 0.25. Great. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I can go into Flames and I can give it a sub-emitter, which is, let's put turbulence back on just to make this really obvious.
This is so cool.
If I can remember where it is.
Can each one have a sub-emitter?
I'll put it at end. And I believe I have to put that under here. It's been a while since I played with sub-emitter. So let's keep the velocity and where do you have to put that in? Oh, I have to assign the sub-emitter at the top. Right. Okay. So let's give this an effect. So what's happening is every time one of these particles dies, it's spawning one of these. Now, at the moment, there's not enough of these being spawned. So let's make that look like that. And let's see if we can prettify it.
I mean, that could be maybe an ember or something like that if it was every so often.
Yeah. But let's make it smoke. It's going to look weird, but, you know, we're doing it. We're doing it live. I also want to make sure user's albedo is on. Okay, smoke doesn't work like this. I am aware of that, right? That's not what we're doing. In fact, just to get rid of that entirely, let's put it as magic. Magic works like that. Everyone knows that. That's how magic works.
I suppose you could just change how gravity affects it and things like that. That's the difference.
That's what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got it on add, and let's go to our process material. Turn off gravity.
BB Game Dev says, I've got to say that it looks quite good. I'd say that the lighting and volumetrics are looking good by default, which is great. It's great whenever you can use a game engine and the aesthetics are there right from the beginning. Maybe even better than Unity.
I don't know. What I will say is definitely competitive. Better is going to be a real, like, subjective term here. And there's going to be things that it does better than other engines and other engines do better than it. Like, that's just how things work.
That was a very PC answer.
It wasn't PC. It was more like okay. Recently, there's been a bunch of attacks on social media about. Oh, is it going to crash?
Hey.
Recently, there's been a bunch of not attacks, hate on Unity, right? And it's not really deserved. Like, okay, there was bad communication, all the rest of it, but Unity is an absolutely fine engine. We gain nothing through engine wars. I prefer using Godot. I make no bones about that, but that's because it clicks with me better than because it's inherently a better engine.
Yeah.
There are certain things that Unreal is simply better designed for. If you want to make a large scale game with lots and lots of people at high speed in a high fidelity environment, shooting guns, Unreal does that out the box. If you have a team of 50 to 150 people, Unreal does that out the box. Hang on a minute. Where's the... I closed it.
Uh-oh. Good evening, Daz.
Hey, Daz.
I wonder... So just off of what Daz has said, I would imagine the particles are batched to save the performance hits. I don't know how the particles are handled in Godot and how much of a performance hit it would have.
or how much is going to be optimized. But oh, that's right. I was playing with fire, wasn't I? No.
All those settings you made.
All right. Subassign GPU particle 3. Great. Subemitter at end. Phenomenal.
Good evening, churros, or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. Yeah, as BB Game Dev says, you were playing with fire. You
Nice.
got burned.
This code is on fire.
Yes, and Pacos there. Unity is not just an engine; it is a service, business entity, marketing department, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
it was a boneheaded decision from a entity of that colossal game engine.
Which is going to happen, right? Like sometimes people say silly things or make silly decisions. It doesn't mean that the tool is not worth using. You don't have to use the tool. If you've decided, you know what, I'm done with this, that's cool. That is entirely your right. But it is not in and of itself better or worse than Godot or Unreal. They're good for different things, and the styles work for different people. There are plenty of people just don't get on with Godot.
I mean, one could argue, make with the point that it's a very large entity. I'm hoping that they can not sort out, but maybe develop a decent asset store for the Godot game engine. It is very helpful having it integrated in both Unreal and Unity, the two other engines I have a lot of familiarity with.
I just got a message saying, "Are you okay? You look a bit flustered." I'm fine. I'm way too hot. My sweat allergies are killing me. For those of you who don't know, I have the dumbest allergy in the world. I'm allergic to my own sweat, which for a mammal is a problem because we sweat.
It is.
All right. So we brought that back. Let's make this prettier.
You know what, yeah, and we've got plenty of time in our diaries. Why don't we create the asset store for the Godot game engine?
I mean, there are always rumors that it's coming and people are working on it and all the rest of it. There have been attempts to make third-party ones. Did I turn off? I did. Unshaded. No, not unshaded. Add. Yeah. All right, we'll leave it mix and unshaded.
I like that as well, Daz. Daz just mentioned he likes how the new alpha builds are all downloadable. You used to have to compile it, which made it inaccessible for many people who maybe just were scared of the whole compiling thing. And of course, less users and less testers means less bug reports, which means it takes longer to flesh out and fix any of the issues that might happen.
You know what? I'm going to do this slightly differently. Let's do a color ramp.
I have heard the rumors of an asset store as well.
Yep. Go from there to there. Great.
So whilst you're playing with that, Churros has said he's discovering Godot student. He's just finished the Hoppy Days video about signals and elegant code, and he's really impressed with signals.
Signals are amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. Okay, here's what I was trying to do before we crash. So I've just saved and saved and saved and saved. Go to subemitter, keep velocity. And then I'm going to turn turbulence back on our flames. And turbulence.
You've got fire and bubbles. Fire bubbles. So this is an underwater level now.
I don't know. It's magic. I was going to do smoke, but like smoke happens at the center. It doesn't happen at the edges. That's bad. So let's just make it magical. But what's happening here is every time one of these particles ends, if there are enough undrawn particles for the subemitter, in this case, these bubbles, it will take the current position of that fire particle, that ember, and its current velocity. I'm not applying any velocity, and just add it in. And what I might do, just to mess around with these particles a bit more, because, you know, is rotate them randomly. So now we go back into our room. Okay. Did you see what happened there? When I came into the level, we have no bubbles for a second. So I save that and I go back into the level. Takes a while for the bubbles to come in, right? Now, part of the reason for that is we're waiting for the fire to be drawn, and the fire isn't drawn straight away. So let's fix that. Let's go into our fire.
Also, like
And
a pre-process, it's called. Nice.
yes, we're going to pre-process 2 seconds worth of fire. What that means is when we load it, it's going to simulate as if it's been running for 2 seconds, which is enough time for these to come in as well.
Nice.
Now, if it's just the fire, you wouldn't notice that. But if it's fire and a secondary effect, so if you've got lightning and sparks or rain and splashes, because you could absolutely have it colliding on a surface and doing sub-emitters of smaller drops that are at collision and only at collision. That's absolutely possible. And you can make a little box around your character so the rain bounces off their hat. That's fine too.